The Tomato War. How my nosy neighbor turned my garden into a battlefield. I moved to a small town in northern Arizona, thinking I'd finally found peace. I bought a modest plot of land just outside the town limits. No HOA, no rules, no nosy neighbors. Or so I thought. It started with a dream. Grow my own food, live simpler, breathe cleaner air. Tomatoes were my first love. Heirloom varieties, the weird ones you don't see in stores. Green zebras, black crims, purple Cherokees. Gardening, for me, was healing. But not everyone likes when someone tries to live differently. Chapter 1. The Queen of Nothing. The first time I met Beverly, she didn't introduce herself. She marched over with a clipboard, her lipstick sharp as her tone, and said, "This isn't allowed here." I thought she was kidding. She pointed at my compost bags and garden tools like they were contraband. I reminded her I was outside the HOA's jurisdiction, but she insisted my land still visually impacted the neighborhood and needed to meet community aesthetic values. That was her favorite word. Values. Only, it wasn't about values. It was about control. Chapter 2. Tomatoes. Drugs. 2 weeks later, I'm elbows deep planting tomatoes when I hear sirens. Actual sirens. 2 cops roll up. Beverly had called the police claiming I was running an illegal drug operation in my tomato patch. They looked confused. I was confused. The tomatoes were, frankly, thriving. I explained what each variety was, showed them my legal paperwork. To their credit, the officers chuckled by the end, apologizing for the nonsense. But Beverly! She stood across the street filming with her iPhone like she was breaking Watergate. Chapter 3. Psychological Warfare. It didn't stop. The next day, a handwritten letter in my mailbox full of threats and fake legal codes. Then came a group of lawn chair warriors outside her house, an emergency HOA meeting with lemonade and laminated maps. My property, circled in red. Beverly called it an agricultural crisis. I called it Tuesday. But it escalated. One night, someone trampled my rows of tomatoes. They left behind a painted garden gnome wearing pearls. A direct hit. I installed security cameras. I documented everything. When I showed the footage to the cops, they asked, "Let me guess. Beverly?" I didn't even need to answer. Chapter 4. The Bulldozer. The breaking point came at 3 a.m. A bulldozer, yes, a bulldozer, crashed into my garden, flattening everything. I ran outside in shock. The guy inside didn't even flinch. He was paid, he said, by a woman named Beverly to clear the land. I had it all on camera. The police showed up fast. When they knocked on Beverly's door, she tried to say she thought the property was abandoned. They weren't buying it. She was served a criminal summons. That moment, I didn't feel vindicated. I felt exhausted. Chapter 5. From Garden to Movement. The neighborhood rallied behind me. A Facebook group called Justice for the Tomato Patch popped up. Over 400 members in 2 days. I started live streaming the garden rebuild. A little girl painted a sign that said, "Welcome to Tomato Town." We had Saturday socials. I gave away cherry tomatoes. We played music. Someone even brought a guitar. That's when a neighbor gave me a jar labeled, "Beverly's Tears, Extra Salty Tomato Sauce." I laughed so hard I cried. Then I did the most petty, beautiful thing I've ever done. I turned it into a business. Chapter 6. The legacy of a meltdown. My sauce line took off. Passive-aggressive marinara, entitled Eggplant Explosion, Nosy Neighbor Nacho Dip. We sold out in a week. Local news stations came. Then a podcast. Then national coverage. And Beverly? She stayed locked inside. Her lawn wilted. Her porch light flickered like a ghost lived there. No one invited her to neighborhood events anymore. Kids whispered about her like she was a cautionary tale. Final chapter. The note. Months later, a letter came, handwritten, from Beverly. It read, "You win. I still don't get why people sided with you, but your sauce is good. No apology, no remorse, but it was honest. I saved it." Right next to the court summons, Bulldozer footage, and memes of her protest sign that said, "Tomatoes, charcuterie. Let's talk about it." This wasn't just a story about gardening, it was about ego, boundaries, and control. Beverly didn't just hate my tomatoes, she hated losing the ability to tell others how to live. But here's my question to you. At what point does tricking or teasing a neighbor stop being funny and start being harassment? When does being a concerned citizen cross the line into toxic control? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever had a Beverly in your life? And do you think I went too far turning it into a brand? Sound off below. I read every comment. And hey, stay spicy.